Hello. Hello? There it goes. Okay. Hello? Okay. So this conversation is about Mr. What is it, Robert O'Leary or whatever it is that put out too long ago. Dennis O'Leary, whatever his fucking name was. Stupid white cracker. Kevin O'Leary. Alright. Mr. Kevin O'Leary thinks he's so smart and everything else like that, and thinks that, it's just a French thing or whatever, which it's not. Okay. The thing is he goes on about saying that, oh, well, people are not answering their phones after work or whatever else like that. Yeah, because one, we're not at work. Okay, two, we are not at work. All right, so I don't have to sit there and answer my phone because it's not my company. Okay, when I am off work. Because that's the whole point of being off work, isn't it? It means off work. Okay. Then he complains about, school shootings or, oh, well, parents aren't, dealing with their, kids or anything else like that. Well, if these businesses would, understand that, hey, my kid has a problem, I have to, get off work to go deal with the problem, but yet you'll get fired for dealing with the fucking problem, or it's either that or your kid's gonna go, fucking lose his shit and go shoot up a school. So, you sit there, and want to gripe about, oh, well, you need to find a work between, life and home or business and home or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay. Then understand that you have no right to hold a parent responsible for you keeping them at work in fear of losing their job. In essence, they can't go and deal with their kids. So the thing is, Mr. Kevin O'Leary, if you want to get anything correct, man, because, I dealt with this when I was a kid with my mother during the 80s and the 90s, all the way up until the 2000s. So the whole point about it is if, your parent has to deal with work and then can't deal with the problems that you have at home. Hence the same reason why I, shanked a kid in the neck because, 2 years of dealing with a school bully who wants to sit there and tell you that you, either smell or you're wearing the wrong clothes or whatever, something like that. He's eventually going to get his shit beaten when he talks to the wrong person, or you're going to get shot. So, I mean, the real thing is that you have to understand is people become intolerable. All right. And if you want to sit there and parade your business over, someone's head and saying that your business is not important, because it isn't, because it's not my business. Okay, it's yours. Your business is important to you. It is not important to me. It's just a job. Okay. Hence the whole point. Like y'all say, we're a dime a dozen, right? So, I mean, hence the point. Y'all are a dime a dozen, right? So, this is the whole point. Okay, so if you want to sit there and say, oh, well, why aren't these people, answering phone calls? Because they don't have to. They don't have to. Once you go home, you go home. I don't have to answer you. I don't have to do nothing other than deal with what is currently going on in my home. I know the difference between work and home. Question is do you? Because apparently the only thing that you can think about is a business and making money off of other people's back instead of doing it your damn self. Okay, so why don't you try putting yourself in their position, work those schedules and everything else like that, and then have fear of being fired or losing your job or losing your pay or anything else like that. So what would any parent's gonna, basically cast aside their kid in essence to keep their job because that's what keeps their home. That's what keeps their home over a home with their kid. He puts food on the table for their kid, puts clothes on their backs for their kids and everything else like that. So and then kids want to ask, oh, well, how come you're not home to deal with me? Well, because my work is sitting here saying that I have to stay and I have to work, and if I go, I lose my job. So, I mean, what what's the what's the give and take here? Okay, I mean, if you're so smart, you fucking cracker, all right, then you should be able to fucking figure it out, huh? But apparently, you're not smart enough to understand the conduction of your own business now, are you? So, I mean, I give it to you this, okay? I mean, you can either, allow these parents, to basically go home, deal with their kids, not have to be worried about, being fired or anything else like that. And, make sure, that, their kid is at least in a mental state to where they're not going to do something like that. Or you can have the problems that you're having today, which is, basically fucking kids shooting up schools, fucking, politicians basically stealing $3 million. Hello, there's that down in what is it, Illinois. So I mean, and she apparently tried to flee across borders and everything else like that. So why isn't she put in jail? I mean, she put the town $3 million in debt, and that doesn't even include the state debt or anything else like that. It's just the town. But yet she's allowed to run it corrupt as fuck and everything else like that. Hence the point in putting cameras everywhere and having cameras on a phone and stuff like that, and hence the whole point of, even Texas needs to change its policies even on that. Why? Because apparently everything you do, say, or find, or have witnesses to, oh, it's all admissible in court. And what's the point in having witnesses? What's the point of having a court system? What's the point in having any of it? I ask you this, okay? Because if witnesses are supposed to be contrary to a court battle, and it's supposed to be proved as evidence, then why aren't they using evidence in Texas? Hmm? So I ask you this, then where's our justice system in that? Because apparently if everything that we say, do, or record, or witness, or anything else like that is considered non-admissible or admissible in court, then I ask you this question, then what is the real truth of it, okay? Then what is the point of witnesses? Then anyone can blatantly murder as long as you have the money to pay for it. So anybody can murder anyone as long as you have the money to pay for it. So that's what it seems to be like, especially nowadays. So you wonder where all this is coming from, because we've had to deal with it with our parents. And as kids growing up, we decided not to deal with it, and we decided not to put up with it. So, I mean, changes have got to happen, and you can either, dig your ditch deeper, or you can find someone to get it out. I mean, if no one's, outspoken about it, at least I'm trying to be. So, it's just one of those things that, we all learn over time. And, maybe you'll learn that, hey, I may be fucking up, and I need to let these people deal with their kids without the sacrifice of their job, because if you don't want this crap to be going on, but yet you sit there and want to complain about it going on, that's double standard. So, maybe something you should think about, maybe something other people should think about, and stuff like that. Maybe, kind of get it out there to let people know and whatnot is about the best I can do right now, because, I have a herniated disc and a narrowing of the spine, but yet still have witnesses and everything else to it. And nope, admissible in court. So what's the point of having witnesses in court for trials? What's the point of having a jury? What's the point of having a judge? What's the point of having any of it then? So, I mean, hence the whole point of, you wonder the reason why we're screaming rebellion and civil war. Well, take a look at yourself, take a look at your business, take a look at the people you have in charge, and what you're demanding of them, and maybe that's the reason why you might get, violent acts. Did you ever think about that? So, hence, I'm willing to talk about it. I'm willing to say something about it. Who else has to tell us? Hope you enjoyed it. See y'all next.